Most people think of Labor Day as a carefree holiday, the last chance to enjoy summer, filled with barbecues, fireworks, and football games. But here's the truth no one usually tells you. This day was born from sweat, tears, and even blood. Behind the parades and family gatherings lies a story of workers once forced to endure endless hours, stripped of the basic dignity we now take for granted. Imagine a world where you worked 12 to 14 hours every single day, where rest was a luxury, and where raising your voice for fairness could cost you your freedom or worse. That world wasn't centuries ago. It was America just over 100 years back. Welcome to Beyond 60 Wisdom. When I discovered the origins of Labor Day, I realized it isn't just a long weekend on the calendar. It's a scar in history, carved by thousands of workers who stood together and demanded something that seems obvious today, the right to limit a workday to 8 hours. Their voices shook the streets of Chicago in 1886, and the shockwaves reached the White House in 1894 when President Grover Cleveland signed it into law. And yet, what fascinates me most is not the law itself, but how easily the meaning behind it can be forgotten. We celebrate, we shop, we relax, but do we really remember the price that was paid? Labor Day is more than a party. It is a warning, a reminder, and a challenge. If you want to keep uncovering the hidden truths and stories that shape our lives, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Your support gives us the motivation to bring you more powerful stories worth remembering. And trust me, what comes next in this video is the part you absolutely cannot miss. Stay with me because the heart of the story is just ahead. Picture the streets of New York in 1882. Thousands of workers marched together, not as a festive crowd, but as a living voice demanding dignity. Their steps echoed through the city, a powerful reminder that the people who built America's progress were more than silent hands in factories. They were fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters asking for one simple thing: fairness. To me, that image carries a weight much heavier than fireworks or football games. It is the sound of history being written, not in law books first, but on the pavement by ordinary men and women who refuse to be invisible. What strikes me most is how easily the meaning of this day can slip away. Today, Labor Day is often wrapped in sales and leisure, yet behind that lies a story carved by risk and sacrifice. The parades that once symbolized courage now risk being seen as tradition without memory. And here is the uncomfortable truth. Rights that feel permanent were once fragile, fought for in the face of opposition. When I reflect on that, I wonder if we have grown too comfortable, too distracted to remember that these freedoms are not guaranteed forever. This is why Labor Day should never be viewed as just a holiday. It is a mirror asking us if we still value the unity that once gave workers the power to change history. Do we truly honor that spirit, or are we letting it fade into convenience? That question stays with me. Stay close, because what comes next will take this story to a level you may not expect. The turning point, the heart of Labor Day's legacy, is waiting in the next part. Don't miss it. Labor Day may have started in the streets of New York, but its meaning reaches far beyond a single city or even a single country. It became part of a larger story shared across the world, where workers everywhere fought for dignity and balance in their lives. To me, that connection is powerful. It shows that what began as a demand for fairness in one place became a universal reminder that progress is built on unity. This day is not just about history, it is about what we choose to carry forward. When I think about it today, I see how Labor Day quietly marks the turning of seasons. It is the last breath of summer, the threshold into autumn. Families gather, students prepare to return to school, and communities pause together. On the surface, it feels ordinary, but beneath that calm rhythm lies a challenge. Do we see Labor Day only as a long weekend, or do we let it remind us that nothing valuable is permanent unless we protect it? That question keeps echoing because rights can fade as quickly as they were won if we stop paying attention. This is why I believe Labor Day deserves more than a casual glance at the calendar. It asks us to remember that behind every comfortable moment today stands a line of people who chose courage over silence. It invites us to carry that spirit into the future, not just as tradition, but as responsibility. And this is where the story sharpens. Because what comes next is not about the past, it's about us, right now. The real weight of Labor Day isn't only in history books, it's in the choices we make today. Stay with me, because the most revealing part of this journey is just ahead. What fascinates me about Labor Day is how it forces us to face a hard truth. Rights are never given freely, they are earned, and once earned, they can just as easily be lost. We celebrate the parades, the gatherings, the sense of community, but beneath all of that lies a question that is almost uncomfortable. Have we grown so used to our freedoms that we forget they came with a price? I find myself asking this often because history shows that comfort can make us careless, and carelessness can cost us more than we realize. Think of the contrast. Once, workers risked their lives just to ask for a shorter workday. Today, most of us would never imagine fighting that same battle. But that doesn't mean the lesson no longer matters. Labor Day is not just about remembering the past, it's about measuring ourselves in the present. Do we still have that same courage to stand up for what is right? Or do we hide behind the easy belief that progress will somehow take care of itself? To me, this is where Labor Day becomes more than a holiday. It becomes a mirror that reflects our values, showing us whether we truly honor the spirit of unity that built it. And that's why I see it as more than history. It's a test of how we live now. The story doesn't stop here. What you're about to hear next reveals a perspective that might surprise you, something that connects Labor Day not only to yesterday, but directly to the choices we face today. This next part is the real turning point. Don't go anywhere, because the heart of the story is still waiting. The part of Labor Day that often shocks me the most is how quickly we forget the sacrifices hidden beneath it. It is easy to see the parades and family gatherings, but harder to face the truth that lives were changed forever in the fight that made this day possible. People were jailed, families torn apart, and some even paid with their lives for a principle we now call ordinary, the right to fair work and fair rest. That realization shakes me because it proves that nothing about justice comes without a cost. What makes this even more striking is how different the day looks now. We treat it as a long weekend, but imagine standing in the shoes of a worker in the late 19th century, exhausted, invisible, and desperate for change. When I picture that, the holiday no longer feels lighthearted. It feels like a warning not to take progress for granted. And the more I reflect, the clearer it becomes that forgetting this truth may be the most dangerous mistake of all. To me, the shocking reality of Labor Day is not only its history, but the way history repeats itself if we fail to remember. Rights that feel unshakable can fade if we stop defending them. That is why this holiday should be more than rest. It should be a spark that reminds us of resilience and solidarity. And here is where the story turns again. Because what comes next is not just history, it's a revelation that connects directly to how we live today. The heart of this journey, the piece that ties past and present together, is about to unfold. Don't leave now, because the most important discovery is waiting in the next part. What makes Labor Day so meaningful is not just the past, but the way it speaks to the future. When I think about it, this holiday is more than a memory of marches and struggles. It is a reminder that society is always in motion. Every generation faces its own challenges, and every step forward comes with the same question. Will we choose unity and fairness, or will we forget the lessons already written for us? That is why Labor Day feels alive to me, not as a piece of history, but as a guide pointing to what still needs to be done. The holiday also shows how deeply connected people are across time and across borders. It began with workers in one nation, but its spirit echoes worldwide. The truth is simple. Dignity at work is not limited by geography. Wherever people labor, the fight for respect and balance exists. Seeing that connection makes me realize Labor Day is not just about America. It is about humanity learning, again and again, to honor the value of work and the lives behind it. Today, many see Labor Day as the end of summer, the last trip before school begins, or the opening of football season. But beneath those traditions, the real meaning is still there, waiting to be remembered. If we allow ourselves to look closer, this day challenges us to see beyond comfort and to think about what kind of future we are building. And this leads us to the most important part of all. Because the story of Labor Day doesn't stop with remembrance, it connects directly to how we act in the present and what we leave for the future. Stay with me, because the conclusion you're about to hear will reveal the deeper truth that ties everything together. As I reach this point in the story of Labor Day, I realize it cannot just be about the past or even the present. It is about what each of us chooses to do with the lesson. The day was created to honor workers, to celebrate unity, and to remind us that rights come from persistence. But the real test is whether we let that spirit fade into a holiday of convenience or whether we use it to inspire conversations about what still needs attention today. That is why I believe Labor Day is not only history, it is a living question we all carry. When I reflect on it, I see how every Labor Day invites us to pause and ask ourselves, what do we value most? Is it simply the comfort of a long weekend, or is it the courage to remember and to speak for fairness in our own time? That is not an easy question, but it is the one that gives the holiday its weight. And sometimes, the most powerful way to honor the people who fought before us is to continue their work in our own way, however small it may seem. So as the summer closes and autumn begins, Labor Day stands as a marker. It is both a celebration and a challenge. It asks us to look at the world around us and wonder if we are truly protecting the dignity of work or if we are drifting into forgetfulness. And now I want to leave you with a thought that opens the door to something deeper. If Labor Day is a mirror of our values, then what it reflects back about us today may surprise you. Stay with me, because the closing part of this journey is where everything comes together, and you will not want to miss it. Labor Day is often seen today as the bookend of summer, a weekend of barbecues, sports, family trips, and a moment of rest before the season changes. Yet when we trace its roots, we uncover a story that is anything but lighthearted. It is a story of workers who endured long hours, harsh conditions, and little recognition, yet who found the courage to raise their voices and demand fairness. Their struggle, often met with resistance and sometimes tragedy, gave birth to the rights and balance many of us now consider natural: the 8-hour workday, safer conditions, and the recognition that every worker deserves dignity. Reflecting on this, I see Labor Day not as a static holiday, but as a living reminder. It tells us that progress is never guaranteed. It is earned through effort, sacrifice, and unity. The parades and gatherings that mark the day may look like simple traditions, but behind them lies a deeper truth. They are symbols of resilience, echoes of voices that refuse to be silenced. To honor Labor Day is to remember that even small acts of courage, when joined together, can change the course of history. From my own perspective, what moves me most is how this day bridges the past and the present. It is not just about remembering workers of the 19th century. It is about asking ourselves if we are living up to their example today. Their fight was not only about hours or wages, but about respect and recognition, the kind of values that are still relevant in every aspect of modern life. For me, Labor Day becomes a call to look at the way I approach my work, my community, and my relationships. Do I value the people around me? Do I recognize their efforts, even in small ways? These questions remind me that honoring labor is not only about laws, it is about how we treat one another every day. The lesson I draw from Labor Day is simple but powerful. Unity and persistence make change possible. No progress is achieved without challenges, and no right is permanent without care. Applying this lesson in daily life means refusing to take things for granted. It means appreciating the value of hard work, whether it is our own or that of others. It also means being willing to stand for fairness in our families, workplaces, and communities, even when it is inconvenient. In practical terms, it could be as small as supporting a colleague, showing gratitude, or making time to rest and restore balance. It could also mean paying attention to the larger issues that shape our society and lending our voice, however modest, to the causes that matter. Labor Day teaches us that history is shaped not just by leaders, but by ordinary people who dare to act. If we carry that spirit into our lives, we not only honor those who came before us, but also plant seeds for a better future. That, to me, is the real meaning of this day. So now I'd like to hear from you. When you think about Labor Day, what meaning does it hold for you personally? Please share your perspective in the comments below so that others can learn from your insight. And if you find value in these reflections, I kindly invite you to subscribe to the channel. Your support gives us the motivation to continue bringing meaningful stories and lessons to life.